Marques Brownlee, otherwise known as MKBHD on YouTube, is one of the biggest tech YouTube creators out there. He's approaching 18 million followers right now and has an incredible studio space, basically a warehouse with multiple shooting rooms, a robotic arm, an amazing overhead shot for things like phones and other tech, and everything is so well thought out. So we're going to go through and rate MKBHD's studio in 7 categories. I'm going to be honest, there's going to be a lot of 5 out of 5 stars, but there is one category that's not 5 out of 5, so stay tuned for that. For category 1, his set design and backgrounds, it's 5 out of 5. There's really second to none. Not only does he have multiple shooting spaces, so he can have different looks for his A roll and B roll, but he has an entire room dedicated to this overhead shot. Obviously, he reviews a lot of phones, being a tech YouTube creator, and so this overhead shot is just incredible. He's thought everything out, even including putting a black piece of material around the camera so you don't see the reflection of the camera in the device screens. And he has a bunch of materials and tiles where he can change the backdrop of that overhead shot to different colors, and it all looks amazing. Like I mentioned, he has multiple filming rooms where he can do his A-roll, even if he just wants to film in the main large area of his studio. And an important detail is he's thought very carefully about the sound of his videos. Every room has carpet, there's sound treatment all the way up into the ceiling. He even has an entire wall of sound blankets blocking the air conditioner sound on a far side of the studio. So if there's anything you learned from this review, sound treatment is critical. And if you hear any MKBHD video, you know it sounds incredible.
Then hardware. So they built a whole bunch of software features around it.
We'll put a link to his full studio tour down in the video description, but he also did a recent tour of just his desk, and I do appreciate how MKBHD uses equipment that he's had for a long time, like his Yamaha speakers, and he says they just sound good, there's no need to upgrade or replace them. So it's not always about getting the latest and greatest tech. Sometimes if you find a piece of tech that works extremely well, it can stay around. You don't have to upgrade it every year. So what about cameras and mics? Well, MKBHD shoots on Red cameras. Even when he goes on location to an Apple event, there's footage of him at the recent iPhone event shooting with a Red camera in the hands-on area. So obviously he gets incredible quality, and those Red cameras can shoot up to 8K video, which while you may not publish 8K video to YouTube, you can crop in way far and you'll still get 4K quality video from an 8K raw image. Not to mention, he has an entire room in the studio with just wall-to-wall cameras, batteries, drones, stabilizers. I mean, he can use whatever camera he wants. But when it comes to sound, he does have one microphone that he seems to use in all of his main videos and even when he's doing shorts on YouTube, and that's the Sennheiser MKH416. As a matter of fact, that's what I'm using right now. Yes, it is a $1,000 mic, but it's an industry standard. It's one of those microphones that you can buy once and you never have to worry about a shotgun microphone again. But what really makes it shine is that sound treatment he's done in his studio, and as you could tell, again, all his videos sound incredible. So when it comes to camera and microphones, I mean, it's a 5 out of 5 again. What can you say? Number 3, what about lighting? Again, MKBHD has a massive studio with multiple rooms, so there's lights everywhere. I've seen Godox, I've seen aperture lights, but a key factor in any lighting is getting soft, even lighting. And as you can see around his studio, there's lots of soft boxes, there's light domes, and that soft, even lighting is what makes videos just look great. I have an Aperture Light Dome 2 on an Amaran 200X. We'll put links to those in the description. The Light Dome 2 is about $200, so around $500 you could have an incredible key light and softbox to make your videos look great. Around his studio, he can also remote control the shades to control the light during the day. And in one of his side rooms, he has this awesome overhead light canopy, I guess you could say, which really provides super nice light for those top-down shots or shooting at different angles. So yes, you probably guessed it, studio lighting is a 5 out of 5 as well. Now number 4, this next category, it's kind of unique to MKBHD, but you have to mention it. The MKBHD studio is equipped with a full robotic arm specifically for B-roll video footage of different tech devices. Yes, it's just a room dedicated to it. It's a massive robotic arm. It's controlled with an Xbox controller, and it can do incredible movements around a piece of tech that makes really awesome B-roll shots, especially for the intros of his videos. Now obviously this is way expensive, not attainable by most creators, but you just have to admit it's super cool, and so robot arm category, 5 out of 5. Number 5, versatility and usability. Like I mentioned, there's multiple places where MKBHD can shoot in his studio, and obviously it's very versatile. But for instance, that top-down room, he can leave set up and change the look just by using some different props and changing the background for that shot. Now if you're trying to set up a top-down shot in your studio or home office, this doesn't need to be an expensive proposition. I actually have some of these tiles that I got from a local hardware store. These are like tile samples. They're single-digit dollars, maybe 10 bucks at the most. You can get different patterns, and I've used these in the backdrop for my top-down shot, so it can change the look, and it doesn't have to be expensive, and they still look great on camera. So if you want to hack that, you can have some usability and versatility just by getting some tiles at your local hardware store. So yes, multiple rooms with multiple looks in each room, different backdrops. Versatility, usability is 5 out of 5. But here's the one category that's not 5 out of 5, and that's attainability. For all of our studio reviews that we're doing here on the channel, we try to say how attainable is this for just someone trying to get into the creator space or just starting out, and obviously having an entire warehouse dedicated to content creation with multiple rooms and a robotic arm for B-roll shots. I mean, this is just not something that most people can attain. MKBHD's first tech video was over 14 years ago. And this is something to keep in mind. The content creation game is not an overnight success. This is many years of consistent effort, and this is what 14 years with great effort, being skilled in these areas, constantly improving. MKBHD's channel is the end result, and it looks amazing. So attainability, I'm not going to put at 0 because with enough time, effort, and funds, someone could do this. But for most people, it's going to be like a 0.5 out of 5, like maybe a 1 out of 5, but attainability for most people is just not there. But we're going to end with a 5 out of 5 category. And so this last one is Vibe Check. And MKBHD has a very strong brand. One of the reasons why I did red in the back of this video, it's kind of his color. But he has an awesome brand, including merch and shirts, and everything just feels like MKBHD. But he also does great Easter eggs in his videos, where when he's doing his A-roll and his talking headshot, you see different props in the background. Oftentimes it actually relates to the tech he's talking about, or is sometimes just fun to look at. So when it comes to Vibe Check, watching his videos, it's a 5 out of 5 again. So even though the attainability is pretty low, overall MKBH Studio is like a 4.9 out of 5. I mean, it's just an awesome studio. Shooting in this space has got to be fun. He has an entire team of people also working with him, creatively, producing, scripting. And that's also something to remember. As you're starting in the content creation, whether it's video or podcast, don't be intimidated and don't feel bad that your content doesn't look like MKBHD's. Again, he has an entire warehouse and a robotic arm that can help him film his videos. So don't get discouraged, and like MrBeast says, don't suffer from analysis paralysis, where you don't get started because you're trying to get the perfect equipment or the perfect title. Just start creating today. And a great way to record is with Riverside. You can start your remote podcast or other video content with remote guests, and using Riverside, you get high quality video and audio. Plus, we have incredible editing tools, which many content creators like myself, we don't have teams of editors, but the Riverside editor makes it easy to create vertical clips to share on TikTok and Instagram Reels, or long-form video podcasts for YouTube. And we even have features like Magic Clips, which will use AI to find engaging moments of your content and create those 30 to 60 second vertical clips for you with just a click of a button. You can learn more about Magic Clips and using Riverside at the video above or in the description, and subscribe to the Riverside channel. We have lots of content on lighting, audio and mics, cameras, video. And if you're trying to build a home studio, we actually have an entire video on that. I talk about this studio that I built and everything on my creator desk. You can check that video out above or in the description. Thanks for tuning in. And before you go, you should check out this video right here. It's a pretty good one.